let's start with the Marchand, okay? Because it really bugged me that he can get away with that again, and then the referee gives him a penalty because he doesn't like what Marchand said.
Yeah.
Like, that's, where are we? Like, that's ridiculous, is it not? Like, you think that he disrespected you, so you give him a 10-minute misconduct, but all the cross-checks go unpunished? I don't even know if they're penalties, but I'm pretty sure cross-checking is still in the rule book.
I thought they were trying to crack down on cross-checking. I know it's more of like in the course of the play, in the corner, you're trying to get rid of that. But I mean, if you're doing it at a whistle, what's the difference? Like, what really is the difference? If you're cross-checking the guy like that and it's so plain in view, like, that should be a penalty.
I keep
obviously
comparing the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Vancouver Canucks that made the run to the Stanley Cup final and lost to a very similar Boston Bruins team. And I can't help but think that there are folks in Vancouver, write in if you feel this way, that are seeing a little sports PTSD in watching the Leafs play against the Bruins. Because it's the same kind of stuff. Like, the Canucks were a goal better than the Bruins in that Stanley Cup final and lost. Right?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to turn the cheek. And listen, NHL keeps saying they don't want this, and then the playoffs come around, and guess what? It's all that. And I don't know if the Leafs can win those series.
It just goes back to the philosophy of Kyle Dubas. Like, this is the way he thinks his team is going to be able to progress through the playoffs. He thinks it doesn't matter if you're not tough enough. He thinks you'll be able to outscore them in the first round of the playoffs. And you're banking on 6-4 wins over the course of a 7-game series to get you through.
I would think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a conversation, this is not me making a statement.
Yeah.
If you and I gave the truth serum to Kyle Dubas, he would have thought when he gambled on this style of hockey, and it fell into his lap, frankly, with where they were drafting, that the NHL would call the playoffs a little bit tighter than they did when he first came into the league.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, and they haven't.
No.
It hasn't changed at all in the postseason. In the regular season, it's changed. In the postseason, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And I think you see that in Edmonton and you see it in Toronto.
So Lyubushkin leaves the game, one of many defensemen to leave the game for the Maple Leafs. So attrition last night for sure. Taylor Hall gets the 5K, and obviously many Leaf fans upset. Other fans around the league basically saying that it wasn't much of a sucker punch, so why would it be a game suspension or 2-game suspension? What did you think about the 5K?
I thought the reaction from some Leaf fans was kind of silly. Like, this is not Todd Bertuzzi. You're idiots if you think this is Todd Bertuzzi. Like, what I saw was a punch to the face. Like, Todd Bertuzzi jumped on his back, drove his head into the ground. It was premeditated and never let go.
It's not even in the same
It's not.
stratosphere.
It's not. What does bug me, in full context, not one frozen frame that we saw on Twitter repeatedly, but in full context, what I saw was, I also know if Lyubushkin went down and was hurt seriously, Taylor Hall would have been suspended. And that bugs me.
But he did leave the game. He was hurt.
But I'm saying if this was like he got knocked out.
Stretchered off the ice or something really bad.
Yeah, if he got knocked out, we'd be talking about a multi-game suspension today. And that bugs me. Like, what also people aren't talking about near enough who think this should have been a multi-game suspension was the hit from behind. Like, here's what I think should have happened. Lyubushkin should have got 2 for boarding or hitting, whatever you want to give him for the hit. And I really think Taylor Hall should have got 5 and maybe the game for the punch. And if you look in the rule book, it's there, man. It is there. A match penalty, rule 4615. A match penalty shall be assessed to a player who punches an unsuspecting or unwilling opponent, i.e. sucker punch, and causes injury. That's the rule book.
Yeah.
And the only part of this that I could say maybe George Peros pointed to this, because do you think it should have been a suspension?
I think he should have got a game because I don't think you need plays like that in hockey. Like, you can't have a guy turn to you. In any facet of life, you don't fight that way. You don't hit someone from behind when they're not looking. Like, that should have been a game suspension because of that, not because of the veracity of the punch or anything like that. It wasn't as hard, I think, as
But you see
many people were
punches
saying.
like that all the time.
I honestly believe, I believe that Taylor Hall, when he realized what he was going in to do, sort of eased up a little bit and took a little bit off the punch. It's neither here nor there, but I think he should have got a game for it.
The part that I thought maybe George Peros pointed to was unsuspecting. Like in a game like that, with a hit like that, you should not be unsuspecting of any sort of retaliation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe Peros looked at that and said, well, why would you turn away after you just hit a guy from behind on a borderline hit in a game as rough as that? Mm-hmm. And that's the one part of this that I don't know that people are taking into account enough, is that he shouldn't have been unsuspecting. But he was, and he was also unwilling. And that, in the rule book, says match penalty, which is 5 game and a game suspension.
Yeah.
Like 5, you're out, and a game suspension. And instead, the NHL, this is 2 for roughing.